This is a major announcement. Peplink has just released the new B1 5G router. This is looking a lot like a good choice for mobile connectivity. Come along with us and I'll tell you all about it. Before we get started on the B1 Pro, I do have a minute that I'd like to ask from you to talk to you about something that I'm worried about with the B1 Pro. Peplink has made the decision to sell this device on Amazon using something called Amazon FBA, which means fulfilled by Amazon. That means Peplink sells it to Amazon and Amazon sells it to you. Amazon is not a Peplink dealer in the sense that they don't have support and they don't have the ability to give you any support. Their options are for you to either return the device or for you to contact Peplink. And Peplink's support is lacking. They typically use dealers like us to bridge the gap. What we ask that you do is, if you're interested in buying this on Amazon, please click on the Amazon buy link below so that you're buying it from us. It still ships from the Amazon warehouse. It's still Prime. It's still all of the things that normally are what you'd expect from Amazon. You're just buying it from our Amazon store, which gives us the ability to support you and give you warranty support on the device. If for any reason on Amazon you do see a listing at a lower price than our listing, just reach out to us. I'll make sure to get that corrected and give you a price that will save you an additional $10 to the lowest price that you see there. All right, so let's get to it. So the B1 5G shares a very similar chassis to the Balance 20X. But other than the physical characteristics on the exterior, there's really not a lot of similarities between these two devices. It's pretty much a complete overhaul. I'm going to rapid fire some kind of high-level specs at you about why this is a big deal and why it matters so much. And then we'll dive a bit deeper into what's in the box and some of those key features and what they all mean to you. First off, the B1 5G at its kind of core is designed to be a multi-WAN router or a multi-internet solution. And it comes together with a lot of really awesome features right out of the box. Right out of the gates, just kind of talking about what is probably most important for everyone and what's on their mind, is that this has a X62 second generation 5G embedded cellular modem. That modem is going to give you a max download speed of around 3.5 gigabits per second and about 900 megabits upload. You can check the spec sheet for the exact details, but that's a blazing fast second generation 5G modem that's going to support things like AT&T's Andromeda spectrum and give you that much needed carrier aggregation that you can use with multiple 5G simultaneous streams from those cell towers. All that means is it comes down to giving you faster upload and download speeds with the second generation embedded modem. Next, you've got two integrated WAN ports, wired WAN ports. And Peplink is really realizing that in addition to embedded cellular, people are using a lot of different technologies while on the road or in a mobile office or in a mobile command center, whatever, to stay connected. So they're giving us a lot of wired internet options. If you're using this in a home office or a branch office location, these wired ports could be cable modems, multiple redundant cable modems, or if you're in a more rural setting, or if you're on the road, or if you're in a marine application, these could be Starlinks, more than one Starlink. This could also be a T-Mobile home internet connection. If you're looking for just a high gigabyte, very low cost option, you don't get to use antennas and a lot of stuff with those, but it can be a really solid backup. And you start to round yourself out into like, oh my God, I've got so many connections here. You've got your embedded 5G, you've got your two wired WAN sources here. Technically, right out of the box, included in the licensing, you can turn one of these LAN ports into a third wired WAN connection with the virtual WAN license included in SpeedFusion. And then on top of that, you've got a USB-C port here, which allows you to tether a USB modem, which could include a cell phone if you're interested in doing that, or you could look at a MAX adapter from Peplink, which will work a little bit better and it gives you the ability to hook up an external antenna. But that could give you two 5G connections and two wired or up to three wired connections, so multiple Starlinks or multiple external connections, all in a system with an embedded 5G that can then bond all of these connections together for an unbelievably stable connection to the internet. That brings me to my next really big kind of high-level feature update. There's a very fast processor in the B1 5G. This little guy supports up to 400 megabits of throughput with a SpeedFusion unencrypted connection. That's pretty quick. That's on the level of speeds that we were seeing out of our Pro series modems like the Transit Pro. So I'm very excited to see that level of processing power. Why do you care about processing power? Well, first off, yes, this is a gigabit router. So it will support up to a gigabit of throughput. So if you have gig speed cable modems you want to plug into it, it will throughput all of that and it will do it easily. We've verified. It's a great little router. But when you start to combine multiple connections like the 5G and Starlink or multiple Starlinks, and you're putting them all into a combined tunnel that you're going to use so that any one of those connections can get disconnected and you won't lose that important Zoom call, that requires processing power. And 400 megabits of total combined speed in a tunnel is a lot. It's going to get you what you need. You're not going to be bottlenecked by that processor, even though you're getting this at a very low price point. For your local connectivity, the B1 5G includes Wi-Fi 6. So you're getting that later technology Wi-Fi that does a better job in kind of dense environments where there's a lot of Wi-Fi, like campgrounds and marinas. So Wi-Fi 6 is included, as well as 2 wireless antennas. That's dual band Wi-Fi, so you get 2.4 gigahertz for long range and 5 gigahertz for faster speed with that new Wi-Fi 6 technology. Now, they have also included the wireless access point controller in the B1 5G, which means you can add, with this particular model, up to 30 secondary access points anywhere that you want, either with wireless uplink, doing a wireless mesh, or if you run an Ethernet cable from one of these LAN ports to external wireless access points. With optional licensing, you can actually increase that up to 50 external access points, but if I was going to run a 50 access point network, I might go with a bit of a higher end router, but that's just me. But it is doable. All right, so I've rapid fired a bunch of kind of high level stats at you, just so you didn't have to watch through a ton of the video to get every little thing. But now we're going to slow things down and give you kind of more of an overview of the router and everything that's going on, since this is a first look video. Talking about what's in the box for a second, you're going to get your B1 5G mobile router and an included 12 volt power adapter that uses the micro Molex connector. This router will work from 12 to 30 volts DC power, and yes, you can combine it with our DC fused power cables, which are optional, to wire this directly to 12 volt. In addition, you're going to be getting 2 updated wireless Wi-Fi 6 antennas, and you're going to be getting your 4 small cellular antennas that are the new updated 600 megahertz to 6 gigahertz 5G antennas. You'll also be getting a Peplink branded bit of wire management here that you can see in yellow, orange, and you'll also be getting a SIM injector tool. One thing to note on the power cord is that they did include a European optional power cord adapter, actually a global power adapter. So it not only includes the USA plug, but it will include plugs for just about everywhere around the world, and Asia and the UK and all of Europe. So you're covered there. That included AC power supply is a 120 to 240 volt auto switching power supply, so you don't need any DC or AC step converters to move around globally and operate this device. Last, of course, you get that small, tiny little get started guide that helps you understand where all the antennas go and how to get the modem initially powered on. Looking at the unit for a second, on the front here, just going briefly, we've got our standard complement of status lights. So we've got a status light, obviously solid red when it's booting up, solid green when it's active and running, and blinking green when it's rebooting or going through a firmware update. Just nice to know kind of what's going on there. A Wi-Fi status light here that'll let you know when the Wi-Fi is on. That's the local Wi-Fi, not the cellular, and then a cellular status light here, blinking when it's trying to connect, solid green when it's connected. We've got our 2 Wi-Fi 6 antenna ports here using the standard RP SMA with the pin. Note that that keeps you from accidentally installing the cellular antennas, which are SMA, not RPSMA. These ones do not have a center pin. That reverses, so please just make sure that you use the right antennas on the right ports there. But going back to the front, we've got a new updated style of SIM tray here for installing the redundant 2 SIM cards that will be associated with the 5G embedded modem here. It's a trade-off. I really wasn't a big fan of the previous style on the Balance 20X, where you needed a screwdriver to remove a plate from the lower side, but in this case you're going to need a paper clip or the included SIM injector to get access to your SIMs here. So it's the newer style, and this does take the Nano 4FF size SIM cards here. It's very similar to what you see on the side of phones, to be honest. Over here we've got our USB-C WAN port. This is not for powering the device. This is for connecting up a tethered phone or hotspot device so that you can control a second modem from within the Peplink management interface. Turning the device over, we have our 4 cellular antenna ports, again SMA ports here, that will correspond with the embedded 5G modem. And then we've got our 4 LAN local area network ports, and then our 2 WAN ports here. Past that, we have our 4-pin micro Molex, micro-fit Molex connector for our DC powered in, with our negative and positive DC labeled as the lower 2 pins. And then up above, we have IP 1 and 2 for machine-to-machine communication, like GPIO communication, which is something that you can do with this device if you're looking to control something externally with those 2 additional ports. Additional information on that will be dependent on firmware support and other things, but they have built that into the hardware right out of the gates. Again, mentioning it, that the LAN ports are assignable to WAN ports. You get 1 virtual WAN port right out of the box with your PrimeCare subscription, but technically you could add additional licenses if you wanted even more WAN ports to daisy chain additional internet sources. Moving on to the side here, we've got our kind of standard lock port here for desktop locks. If you want to pick one of those up on Amazon, they're basically just computer desktop locks. They turnkey there, and that will secure the device to whatever you attach it to. And then on the bottom here, we've got our standard serial number information, but we've also got 2 mounting ports here. So this can be mounted on a wall using some screws that are not included. So a big question that our customers at Mobile Must Have are going to ask is, does this support FusionSIM? And can I use FusionSIM or Mobile Must Have's M series data plans in this device? And that's not to be confused with eSIM data plans, which you can get directly from the carrier, and possibly in the future, if you're watching this video, we may have eSIM data plans as well, but as of the filming of this, we do not. The short answer is that the B1 5G supports eSIM, it supports physical SIM through those physical SIM ports here, and it does not support FusionSIM technology at this time. But there is a little bit of a caveat. If you were to plug in a device that did support FusionSIM, like you were daisy chaining an existing Transit Pro device that supports it, or a more realistically, I would say, one of these Dome devices, like you can see right here, a Dome 5G, that device supports FusionSIM, and many customers, especially our marine customers, may be interested in using this as a central command center for the internet. If you have something like this that supports FusionSIM, you can install this up on a mast or up on your roof, and then with a single Ethernet cable, come down and plug into the WAN port here. You need to add a PoE injector to power this, but that's quite easy. And with synergy mode, you can daisy chain this device and have this one control it all on a single dashboard as if the modem was embedded. If you do that with synergy mode, the FusionSIM compatibility in this modem will pass through to this and allow you to use the FusionSIM technology. So it's a nice touch, but FusionSIM is not supported in the embedded 5G modem at this time. So the big question I'm sure that's on most everyone's mind is, do I go with a BR1 Pro 5G at a $999 price point, or do I look at the B1 5G, which has a lower price point? Do I care about the Pro series and what's it going to do for me? That's a tricky question for folks in the RV and the marine community, because this device is technically not considered a mobile router. This is considered a SOHO, or like a small office, home office mobile router. That's really what they positioned it towards. So from a temperature perspective, you'll find that this is much more rugged, and the case and the entire way that this is designed to dissipate heat much more effectively than this particular case. Now, that being said, we've seen a lot of folks use the previous predecessor, the Balance 20X, in RV applications, and they've done just fine with it. Spec-wise, I think you're good to about 100, 105 degrees, which seems actually pretty low if you were going to use it in any type of like mobile application, but we live in climate-controlled RVs. So for the most part, this can run pretty well because we're in the RV and we're not going to be wanting it to be 100 degrees inside the RV. Although be careful, in some of those upper cabinets, you may start to run into challenges with a device that's not designed to be in that mobile type of environment. Moving out of the environmentals for a second and just looking at them head to head, the gap starts to narrow a little bit. The B1 5G, basically the same processor as in the BR1 Pro 5G. So you've got that 400 megabits of unencrypted speed fusion throughput, that 1 gigabit firewall throughput. So they look pretty similar there. As of the time of this launch, and check this because it may change, but they are both equipped with the X62 second generation 5G chip. They both have Wi-Fi 6, and the B1 5G starts to shine when you look at number of ports. So you've got the two WAN ports on this device, you have a single WAN port here. Yes, the ports are assignable, but with the Pro 5G, you just have fewer ports in general. So you may end up having to add a switch or something in the future. So they are very similar devices today in terms of what they can do, but keep an eye on the BR1 Pro if they do any type of generational adjustment to improve its settings. That might start to separate them a little bit. But right now the B1 5G is an exceptionally good value if you can tolerate the fact that those heat characteristics are not going to be really allowing it to be in as harsh an environment. Now, I want people to understand that just because your RV is cold or climate controlled when you're in it, remember, you may be wanting this to operate when you have your RV in storage. And if you're storing it somewhere hot, that could be a problem for you. And all of your critical system monitoring tools that allow you to keep an eye on your RV, make sure your power and everything's working, are not going to monitor too well if the core communications component, your router, goes offline because it overheats. So just think of that as a consideration when you're deciding between these two devices that are largely very similar, but with very different price points. As with most devices at mobilemusthave.com, these are eligible for member discounts. If you're not familiar with our membership, I highly recommend you check it out at membership.mobilemusthave.com. You get upgraded shipping, you get the highest discounts available through mobilemusthave.com, period. We obviously give a price match guarantee on top of those discounts, so you'll always pay the lowest possible price. You get membership reward points that are double when you're a member, that equal basically cash back towards future purchases, and a whole slew of other benefits. But probably the single biggest benefit you get is access to the Mobile Internet Resource Center. I personally have worked with Chris and Shuri at the Mobile Internet Resource Center to develop a highly in-depth Peplink resource center if you're looking at any of the advanced features in any of these devices. Stuff like what we talked about today with Synergy Mode, or maybe you're looking to do VLANs or other more advanced configurations, integrating it with existing systems in your RV, or just doing more advanced setup, or if you just want access to our technical support forum where we man that with Peplink certified technicians and experts to ask questions about these devices, you're covered as a member. So make sure you check that out. Most memberships pay for themselves within 1 to 2 purchases, and you get discounts on all of our data plans. So throughout the year, they definitely pay for themselves. You can get up to $40 per month discount when you get into our multi-plan options. So it's a really cool thing to check out. As always, you can hop over to mobilemusthave.com. Our phone number is located in the top left-hand corner, and you can give us a ring during business hours to speak to an expert about any of the technology that you see here. You can also start up a chat in the bottom right-hand corner to speak to an expert as well. Ask your questions, and we will get back to you right away. We man that chat from 9 to 6 Eastern Standard Time, so that's a great way to talk to our team. And you can also always email us at info@mobilemusthave.com. Check out all of the thousands of 5-star reviews you see there, and always know that we'll take care of you with that price match guarantee, and we've got your back on the road as people who also travel like you and need to stay connected. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the road.